Spotlight.
This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Prime Minister's visit to Namibia. The participants are Jitendra Kumar Tripathi, former ambassador, and KV Prasad, senior journalist.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Windhoek, the capital city of Namibia, on the last leg of his five-nation tour. The visit to the West African country assumes importance, and he was received with great enthusiasm by the Indian diaspora and the local community. To know more about this, we have Mr. Tripathi, who is going to tell us in detail as to exactly what is the importance of the visit, the fact that we have a Prime Minister visit coming after several decades. India has been a long supporter of Namibia even before it became Namibia, raising the issue at the United Nations. So there is a very strong traditional ties with Namibia. Mr. Tripathi, would you be able to decipher as to the importance of this visit and exactly how does it foster the relationship between India and Namibia?
Thank you very much. Now, the visit of third Indian Prime Minister to Namibia, though earlier President and Ministers of External Affairs and many delegations have visited Namibia. But as you have rightly pointed out, Namibia had been in our focus when it comes to Africa. And we have started supporting Namibian cause even before India got independence. That is from 1946. And when finally Namibia got independence in 1990, we were one of the first to establish diplomatic relations with Namibia. Being at the far southern tip of African continent, Namibia becomes important for us for many reasons. One, lying in the western tip of the continent, it serves as a very good stopover point for our naval ships. Second, it has got many critical minerals and uranium, which is very important for us, uranium and tungsten especially. Thirdly, Namibia has discovered oil, 3 billion barrels of oil at Orange Bay off the Atlantic shore. These three things themselves have point out towards the importance of Namibia for India. And moreover, since its independence, Namibia has been a very staunch supporter of India on many multilateral forums.
A little while ago, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Namibian Parliament.
It is a great privilege to address this august house, a temple of democracy. I thank you for giving me this honor. I stand before you as a representative of the mother of democracy. And I bring with me warm greetings from 1.4 billion people of India. Please allow me to begin with congratulating each and every one of you. People have given you the mandate to serve this great nation. In politics, as you know, that is both an honor and a great responsibility. I wish you success in fulfilling the aspirations of your people.
If we look at you mentioned as the strategic value that India and Namibian relationship had, and they have grown over the years, the last 37 years, 35 years plus when Namibia got independence. In fact, historically, the UN peacekeeping force which was conducting elections were headed by an Indian Lieutenant General, Diwan Premchand.
Yes.
So that shows the amount of confidence the people had in Indian leadership at that point of time. Having said that, if we can look at the larger contribution of Namibia in terms of the African continent and its importance, because India is also part of the India-Africa Forum Summit. So if you could look at the context of that, the visit in the larger context.
Well, Namibia in particular and Africa in general play a very important role in India's foreign policy matrix. We have always championed the cause of downtrodden, the cause of colonial African countries to fight against colonialism. And that has been one of our primary focus in non-aligned movement as well. And Namibia has been a very important country in the non-aligned movement perspective. Now, besides its strategic location, Namibia has been steadily developing thriving democracy, which never saw any coup attempt. And Namibian leadership under legendary Sam Nujoma had been very, very much inclined, very much friendly with India. So with that, Namibia plays a very important role. And let me tell you, Namibia, there are some threads or some points, finer points of bilateral relationship, which probably our people do not know. Like we have been training Namibian army for quite some time. There are 2 Indian Air Force officers stationed for years there in Namibia. We have given 2 helicopters, Chetak and 2 Cheetah, to them, and we are training them. Not only that, we are training Namibian diplomats in our diplomatic institute. We are training Namibian officials in a plethora of areas, say 52 or 53 areas where we train them, we pay for their scholarship, we pay for their tuition fee, airfare, boarding, lodging, everything. And that has been a very solid, important point between the two countries. Not only that, if you remember, we gave them 30,000 doses of Covishield. And whenever there was a problem, food security, food shortage, we had 2 times we had given 1,000 tons of rice and 1,000 tons of maize. Plus we had given fertilizer, etc. to them. We are training their police officials for forensic science. We are training their scientists. We are training their health workers. And not only that, we are training their cricketers as well to be on lighter side.
That's very interesting. The point that education is a very important component of our bilateral relationship, and this, what you just narrated, shows the depth of our engagement across wide fields. And of course, one of the important components also falls under the I-Tech component that India does, allows exchange of students in particular from all countries to come and get trained in various fields. But if I were to take you to the other aspect, is Namibia just found new oil deposits, and that's one area. Energy, India is always looking for new sources to sources energy, because we are largely dependent on West Asia, but we are also trying to diversify our basket. So how important would that be in particular?
Well, as I said, with the newly found oil to the tune of say 3 billion barrels, it becomes imperative for India to look at Namibia as a potential source of crude oil. And not only that, I don't buy this point that we import crude oil and then we export the finished good. What we should do is probably with our good technical know-how with OVL, ONGC and other private companies, we can establish refineries there. We can invest in refineries, which will be a win-win situation for both.
And the locals get employed.
Yes.
It adds to their economic...
Because unemployment is 38%.
So that's one component every government would welcome to. And also the cost of economies of scale change once you have these kind of things.
Cost of production.
Cost of production, everything changes. If you were to look at one aspect, mention of health in particular, there are 3-4 issues that India is trying to promote worldwide, and also probably in Namibia we'll be looking at it. The Jan Aushadhi, which has been very popular in India, and also connected to it is our UPI payment system, a digital payment system, which some of these countries do not have or would welcome to have, or something in that effect. So is that something that India and Namibia do look at these areas?
Certainly. As regards digital payment system, even many developed countries do not have. So certainly African countries will more than welcome the sort of support or this sort of help. Jan Aushadhi, yes. Second thing, because of the patents, the medicines produced by multinational companies are unaffordable for common African man. What we should do is, we have the capacity, we have the know-how, we have the will to make that happen. We can probably produce some of the Jan Aushadhi, some of the medicines there, making Namibia a hub for Southern Africa, for SADC countries. We can also procure locally the ingredients, because Africa is full of plants of medicinal values.
One area which every country likes, and probably here India has a different approach, is building infrastructure. Because after the way China went about doing infrastructure projects and countries landed in debt traps, India's development partnership is much different. It's more user friendly and also driven by the demand of the host country. So this is one area which I think India always works on it. So is there something in this sector?
Yes, certainly. Building of ports, building of roads, building of building and other infrastructures, powerhouses. These are the areas where India can come forward. And the difference between us and China, for example, is that China looks at the projects from its own angle, which are beneficial for them, and then proposes the project, gives the money, and then discusses terms and conditions according to its own interests.
It's a fait accompli situation.
Yes, whereas and always inflates the cost. This is my personal experience.
Well, we have seen in the neighborhood, in
this
Sri Lanka.
is my personal experience. In 6 years I have spent in Africa, in 2 countries. And on the contrary, India first asked the host country what are the projects they want India to support.
So they prioritize.
They prioritize their labor force, terms and conditions of loan or donation or grant according to their convenience. And then India monitors the flow of money, the progress of the work. And it has created a very goodwill in these countries of Africa. Now they are turning back to India from China because China has been exposed, and they are turning back. They are looking towards India for developmental assistance. We never say we are donor. We never say we are debtor. We are creditor. We say we are partners. Because we want to share whatever we know, because we also suffered from the developmental issues since we got independence. So that's why we want them to be on the same plan, same platform.
Yeah, so we understand the empathy is there, because
Exactly.
not the Chinese exploitative model which they decide what you do and then you make them pay for it.
Exactly.
So we do a more humanitarian approach and user-friendly approach if one wants to look at. One issue I did ask you in the beginning is the India-Africa Forum, which we've been doing, and 3 summits are over, the 4th is in the works. So how important it is, because in this visit, Prime Minister did go to Ghana and visits Namibia. In the context of getting these 50 plus countries of the continent together on this forum, how does it match overall?
Well, Ghana has also been very much in friendly relations with India since the beginning. Kwame Nkrumah was, and Nehru was quite inclined to Kwame Nkrumah. And India per se was very much friendly with Ghana, and India stood for their cause. So is Namibia. And these 2 countries are middle-level countries, steadily progressing countries, where we can showcase how Indian assistance makes them progress further, and that is which can be a model for the rest of Africa, especially the small countries.
Just before we wind up, Prime Minister Mr. Modi addressed the Namibian Parliament. So how does one look at, and for the benefit of listeners?
Well, head of state, head of government of the oldest democracy, addressing the parliament of one of the thriving democracies in Africa makes sense and underlines its importance. And certainly Prime Minister have spoken about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, because that has been our buzzword in our foreign policy initiative with Africa.
And also takes forward our being the voice of Global South.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Prime Minister's visit to Namibia. The participants were Jitendra Kumar Tripathi, former ambassador, and KV Prasad, senior journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.
Spotlight.